Hey, 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 everyone. I hope you're having an awesome Sunday night. So I promised to bring money upgrade number six. I can count number six tomorrow on Monday, but I actually have a conflict and cannot show up live tomorrow. So I am true to my word and I am showing up now with money upgrade number six. So money upgrade number six is how to end your money management sabotage patterns. And we're getting into all four of them. So starting on Monday, which I'm doing tonight on Sunday, we're going to be talking about overspending. So if you feel like you might be a chronic overspender, anybody else but me out there, that was what my biggest journey with repairing my relationship to money. And I'm going to share a little bit more about that and ways that you can dissolve that pattern. And the other three patterns, aside from overspending, on Tuesday we'll talk about hoarding, people who compulsively save, the opposite of the compulsive spender. And then on Wednesday we'll talk about ambivalence, those that just kind of prefer to bury their head in the sand. And on Thursday we'll talk about overgiving, those that enable others or put themselves in financial distress due to being overly generous with others. So those are the four major money management sabotage patterns. So tonight I'm bringing you overspending, and for each one of these patterns I'm going to be dressed up with some kind of persona. So this is more of like a stereotypical flashy look for an overspender, but not all overspenders look flashy or are all dressed up to the nines, okay? But this is how I'm exaggerating the persona for the overspender for your entertainment purposes. All right, so I have been influenced by Olivia Mellon's Money Harmony book. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate the thumbs up. Hey, my Johnny, thank you for joining. I know it's like on the Sunday night late show or something. But anyway, so the book Money Harmony by Olivia Mellon has been a big influence on my work on helping women with any of their sabotage patterns, but mainly around overspending and hoarding and how to, within your marriage, usually we call in a partner who's the opposite has the opposite sabotage pattern. So it can be a really rich opportunity to bridge that gap. And help one another with our sabotage patterns and leverage each other's strengths. And I spoke more to how to do that inside of a relationship last week on Thursday's Money Upgrade number 4. So if you want to check that out, go back to that replay from Thursday's Money Upgrade number 4 and talking about money with your honey. So today I'm not going to talk about the 6 kinds of personalities that show up for overspenders. So there's even different kinds of overspenders, and this is different than the money types, okay? So money types is more of a broader persona in relationship to money in general. So in the way you make money, the way you manage your money, there's 5 money types, and you can take the money types quiz if you haven't already. I'll drop it in the comments. And all of those money types have strengths, have different sabotage patterns, have their own personalized path to wealth. So you're gonna wanna know that for your own self, your own wisdom, and knowing how to build your way to wealth, and especially inside of your marriage to understand each other better. But today I'm getting into specifically the 6 kinds of overspending, the nuances of overspending. So there's 6 different ways that we can feel that compulsion or that almost an addiction to overspend. So I'm referencing Olivia Mellon's work for this because I love how she broke this down. So the first overspending money type is the money is love spender. So this is a tricky one because this can be someone that's motivated, let me capture this correctly, but motivated to show affection to themselves or to others by spending money, right? And to relieve guilt. So if they want to like smooth things over, they might buy someone something, or for themselves, if they're feeling stressed, then they go to spending money to relieve themselves and to feel better. So I think, if it's in moderation, it's not like the end of the world, but we're talking about chronic patterns, right? So being unable to self-soothe in other ways or to cope with something that's stressful, to do it in a healthful way is really what we're going for, right? And that's what I do with my work with women, is help them figure out ways to actually cope or to self-soothe so they don't turn to overspending. And especially for this overspender, this is a big trap that they find themselves in. And they might find themselves buying on impulse, and often triggered by stress. So you might resonate with this. The next personality for overspending is the blue light spender, like the blue light special. So this is someone whose motive is always looking for like the next best sale, which isn't bad in and of itself. But if it's a chronic thing and you end up like buying things that you don't even really need, have you ever done that? Where you're like, I don't actually need this. It was just such good of a sale that I couldn't pass it up. So that's a way that you can actually overspend your money, and if it becomes chronic, like a compulsion, then that's something you're going to want to look at. All right, the next one is when you're seeking approval. So the approval spender. So their motive is to get acknowledgement or recognition from their peers. So they're going to be dressed up, kind of more like my flashy get up here, dressed to the nines, wearing more of designer brands. They wouldn't be caught dead in anything from like Walmart or, you know, Salvation Army. They really want to impress other people and get validation. So there's going to be an overspending pattern there that's compulsive. And there's 3 more. So the next overspending personality is the overboard spender. So this is someone who is like a compulsive collector. So I think, you know, collecting in general is fine, but compulsive in the sense that it drives you to financial stress, right? So if you're overspending because you must complete the collection, then that's where it becomes a red flag. The I'll show you spender is the next one. That's the person who wants to show someone up or get revenge, or really, it's really a power play. So that one is if you were trying to, you buy something to show off to someone else or to prove something, right? And the last one is the spin of the wheel overspender. So this is like your gambler. This is the person who's likes to test themselves and see, you know, against the odds and see if they can win. So gamblers that love the rush of risk, and that can be addictive too. So really behind all of these overspending personalities is this compulsion or this addictive behavior, like this need to follow through on spending money on whatever it is to satisfy something else. And again, you know, we can do that sometimes. We're human, but the goal is to really be able to satisfy whatever it is that is having us feel alone or sad or angry or unfulfilled, whatever that is that's like gnawing at us, that we try to cover up with our spending tendencies or with sugar. I know that for me is still something I'm working on. So we all have different kinds of addictive tendencies, and I just primarily work on helping women with where it shows up with their money, because then that is going to limit you from creating financial success for yourself, and that's kind of a big deal, right? So that's why I'm so passionate about that. I mean, and to be honest, you know, the first time that I thought about, you know, my overspending habit, it was hard for me to think of it like an addiction. It made me feel like I was bad or like an addict, and it just came with all this kind of like heavy, like shameful feelings. And I think that it's just so human for us to want to even to feel those painful emotions and maybe to feel them for a little bit, but then like, oh, can we just take the edge off? Can I just coat it with something that feels a little better, whether it's sugar or spending? And for me, I don't know if I necessarily qualify as any one of those particular personalities. Maybe the closest one would be the first one, which would be, you know, buying something for myself to feel better. But for me, it was always personal development. So that was even like sneakier and harder to detect as like an overspending tendency, because it's so easily qualifiable. It's so easy to say, well, I'm spending money for my personal development, and you know, I always had a repayment plan in mind. It wasn't willy-nilly throwing my plastic card anywhere. But I didn't really have a fail-safe. I never had like a savings cushion in case my repayment plan didn't come to fruition. And that's where you can see where the addictive pattern for me was showing up, is that even though I took the step to think about the repayment, I didn't take the step to think, well, what if your repayment plan doesn't work, Jackie? And I think I immediately pushed that to the side because I was like, well, no, I need to get this training now. And that's where you can hear the compulsiveness, right? So that's what I've really had to deal with, and I still have to handle. If I notice this, like I want to take like 5 million trainings right now, really, like I have a list. So I just learned that I can have my desires met, but they just need to be on a timeline and be responsible financially. And it could be that I get those desires met soon, but it would have to be taking some bold action, like asking from a loan from someone with like a 0% or low interest rate, and having that kind of like vulnerable conversation. So if you're not willing to do bold things like that, then the more moderate thing to do would be wait to save up the money for the investment that you want to make. Or at least a savings cushion should there be a, should it fall through your investment. So yeah, I just wanted to share that about myself, just to be really transparent that for myself, it has been a struggle with, yeah, wanting to spend money to better myself, but how that can be like a sneaky way of avoiding something. So what I'm avoiding when I want to spend money on personal development is being uncomfortable with delayed gratification. So being uncomfortable with just simply waiting to get that skill set that I so badly want to serve people. I mean, it really comes from a beautiful place, right? Like I want to broaden my skill set and go serve people better. But there's a little bit of like not trusting in there. I don't know if you can catch that. So I'm sharing this because I want you to look in your own life and see where your overspending patterns might be. Maybe you resonated with some of the other personalities more so. And if you didn't hear them, you can go back and listen to the beginning of this video today. And really to end this kind of sabotage pattern with overspending, it was really the best thing to do is just to pause when you feel that impulse. You're going to get that sensation of like, I want this. I need to do this now. I need to complete the collection. I need to show this person up. I need to get approval from other people. And some of it can be really, this impulse can be a little not so conscious, right? Not so overt. But if you start to notice like an anxiety or like that, like you're about to get taken over by a wave of impulse, then that's your sign to pause. Just pause. I promise the world will keep spinning. Nothing's going to fall apart. And I want you to really think, is this in alignment first? And what that means is, can I get this need met that I'm wanting to like spend the money on in another way that's more healthy? Okay, so again, that doesn't so much apply in my situation because I was pursuing like something healthy, like personal development. But if it's like, if I'm thinking of spending money on sugar, even though it's a small investment, but nonetheless, wherever we want to throw our money, are we just trying to plaster over something that's uncomfortable? So that's the first thing, is to stop and think, what am I spending my money on? Is it something that's nourishing to me, or is it just covering up something I don't want to be with? And then choose to be with it. Choose to be with whatever the discomfort is. And I get it. Life hurts sometimes. I've been disappointed many times this past year, professionally, personally, and you can feel like you're all alone. You can feel shame. It can be really intense and heavy, right? And we will do anything to escape that. But I promise that you will survive if you can sit through the emotions as they pass. Because just like anything, the emotions do pass through you. It is material, it is energy that's moving through your body. And if you can let that move through you, and if you're still present to the desire, and you've already looked at ways you can nourish yourself and meet that desire, in those healthy ways, and you're looking and you're like, I really want to make this investment. It's healthy. It's not, feeding a compulsion. It's not a negative habit I'm feeding. Okay. So my personal development training would be a good example. Instead of making that impulse buy right then, what I would then invite someone else to do, who would be in my situation, would be, and how I coach myself through these processes, is to think, okay, what's the most financially responsible thing to do right now? And it could mean that I look at those resources as, is there a 0% loan I can take? Is there a credit card with a 0%? Is there, and how many months is that low interest? Is there a personal loan I can take? And if I've exhausted that or just simply don't want to do that, then what can I do to delay the gratification without freaking out, without getting bitter, without losing faith in myself and in the universe? Because in the meantime, while you're going for that financial goal, you can feel really unfulfilled. Like everything you want is out there. And I think for overspenders, that's what it feels like. It feels like what you want is out there and you can't have it. And that's where that like compulsion, I must have it now, comes from. And I think if we can cultivate, you know, for me at least, it's really worked to help cultivate my trust in myself and in life that good is coming to me. And that when I'm financially responsible, it's putting out in the world that I'm ready to handle great opportunities that come my way. Think about it that way. Like if you do throw around money irresponsibly, think about how the universe might take a look and say, well, I don't know if I'm going to throw this big opportunity at her because she's not ready to hold that kind of responsibility. Isn't that something? I mean, I could be wrong, but I have an inkling that what we're, you know, what we're putting out, what we're demonstrating that we're capable of, we're going to get that in response. So I'm gonna just wrap this up, but I hope that if you want, you can go back and review all of these 6 overspending tendencies and my tip for what to do to dissolve those tendencies. And it's really getting into that deep stuff, right, about shame and addiction and how do we fill those painful holes inside us, or this neediness that we need. And I think that requires further reflection. And I also know that the work I've done with my coaches and my therapists have really done wonders for me, because you can get stuck in your own head, and rewiring your brain and rewiring your energy is really something that should be facilitated in a sacred context through ritual, through a facilitator who can hold space for that. So I've sought those people who can hold that space for me to do my healing, so that I can then hold the space for women to do their healing. So it's my honor to work with women on any of their sabotage behaviors, on any of their shame that comes up for them, so that they can really move into their fullest expression of themselves. So if you're a woman out there hearing this message and you're feeling called to work with a professional to help guide you through and out of any money sabotage patterns, and you really want to look in your bank account and feel proud of yourself and see the kind of numbers that light you up and build a life that feels good and not limited, then I think you should reach out to me and my team to work with me as your money behavior coach. I would be honored to help you, guide you through that sacred journey, that inner work. And I'm so grateful for the people who've guided me on my journey, and I'd love to pay it forward. And on my team, I also have a fee-only certified financial planner and a business finance strategist to answer all of the crunchy nuts and bolts questions. So if you want to hear more about the program, it's called the Financially Foxy Lifestyle Moxie Academy. It's a 3-month experience. And right now I have a limited flash discount I'm offering for $500 off. So if you're interested, I'm going to drop a link in the comments if you want to check out the program. But we only accept participants by application only, because we want to make sure the women who work with us are really committed. So if you just get that tingly sense that now is the time for you to have a different financial future, and to have to have money feel good for the first time maybe ever in your life, and to get out of any of those overspending habits, which happens to the best of us, you know, as a result of all the money lies and money stories and things we believe about ourselves and our own personal power. It's a whole thing, you guys. So, and I shared about that last Monday on Money Upgrade 1. But yeah, it's a deep dive, really getting into money. It's really getting into your personal power and into your self-worth. So I would love to dive into that conversation with you if you feel called. So feel free to book a call with me and my team to see if to apply for the 3-month program if you're interested, and take advantage of the $500 discount. But either way, I am here to provide you the 10-day Money Momentum series. So you can go back on the feed and see Money Upgrades 1 through 4. We had Money Upgrade 5 last Friday. I talked about the sabotage patterns for making money, which you might find really interesting. And then again, we'll do the rest of the money making or money management sabotage patterns this week. So thank you for joining me on your Sunday night. I hope you have had a wonderful weekend, and I send you off to start your week from a place of groundedness and faith in yourself, that you are capable more than you think. And yeah, and I really wish abundance for you, and that money feels good for you, because it's a life changer when that happens. All right, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for joining. I so appreciate it. Look at all the people. Hi, everyone. Laura, Abigail, Karen, thanks for jumping in. Have a happy Sunday. Bye, you guys.